right, now we've carved the hill woman. Here she is. And now we're going to carve the hill man, the miniature hill man. He also stands about 4¼ inches high. He stands just a little bit higher because that's because of the hat, in other words, that he has him. Now when I say hill people, usually it's a little hillbilly or whatever it is, but that's what they are. They're hill people. So let's just go ahead and let's just kind of move this around like this, get this kind of situated here, so take some of that off. I always start kind of working on the feet a little bit, just to kind of get that out of the way, as we might say. All right, now that's just to get it going. That's just not a whole lot finished. Work that out, kind of like in there as we come in the back here. This is an easy part that we work on right here, just to kind of get that rolling. It's a very stormy day here in Texas. Very stormy day. We had some beautiful days, and then okay, now what we are going to do is I'm going to go ahead and come up here, get my pencil, and I'm going to kind of set my boundaries here. I'll draw across where the hat is going to be, and this is where the hat's going to be, right here, in other words. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and get my boundaries set. So let me set my boundaries here with my hat. Come across like that and just sort of and the same thing here. I want to be careful around the hat always, because of the brim is so fragile. We come down here and we just sort of oh shoot, I'm sorry, excuse me, I apologize. Down here in these areas, the sinuses are just, I talked to a lady who came down for a funeral that we were both attending, and she used to have allergies so bad, and she moved up to North Texas, and I asked her how her asthma, she had asthma, horrible. I asked her how her asthma was, and she said since leaving here it's been great. So this area is noted for its heavy asthma and stuff. I don't know, one day maybe I'll leave this area. I still have family down here, and I'll move to Kentucky. If I do move, I'll move toward Kentucky where my son lives. Okay, just kind of coming around here like this. That's where my son resides. I am so proud of my son. I just am. He got in a situation up there in Kentucky where he married a girl from that area, and it was a very small town. And it was the coal mining, the eastern part of Kentucky, not about an hour and a half east of Lexington. And he got up in there in that small town, and unfortunately, those little towns, there's hardly any work at all. And he worked in a drug pharmacy for a while, and then he went into the state prisons, and then he went to the federal prisons, and the girl that he married, unfortunately, she was unfaithful to him, and he found out, and the marriage is over. But he has his children. He has 3 beautiful children, my grandchildren, and he has stayed there, and he's continued to work in the prisons, even though it's not the most pleasant job of all. I hold such contempt for him because he's taken care of his children. He loves them to death, and and a lot of people go, "Oh, well, you can find jobs anywhere." No, up in those areas, no, because the majority of those people in that city and elsewhere, they live. Most of them don't work. They live on government aid and disability and stuff like that. But he has continued to go and work, and I am very proud of him for that. I really am. All right, we're kind of going the hat away a little bit, getting the hat situated. All right, now as we do that, then we want to start in this area of the brim. We want to take the top of the hat, and we want to be very, very careful and cut it like this. We want to be very careful in this case because there's a lot to it. But I'm proud. I was very fortunate that I was able to give my son a good work ethic, and he didn't go up there and just join the others. Not all. I'm not saying it's a bad town. It's just a small town with no work. It was a coal mining town where they made a lot of. The coal mining industry has been just totally devastated, and it's an unusual thing when you go to places where they were very rich in certain sources, and there was plenty of money being made, and there's some very extravagant houses up there, and they're there because people that worked in the coal mining industry made pretty good money, and so they're still up in those small towns like that. And I remember there's a motel. It's not a motel in his town. It's a very small town. But there's a motel in the town about 15 miles away called Paintsville, Kentucky. It's a Ramada Inn. And when you go in this thing, I mean, it's an older motel, but it's a very elegant motel. You could tell at one time it was extremely elegant. And it's in a very, very small town. And this thing is beautiful. It is from the inside. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Got an indoor pool. And I wondered, in a very small town like that, here's this elegant motel, Ramada Inn. And I asked the lady one time, I said, this is a beautiful motel. What's it doing in such a small town? And she told me that at one time when the coal industry was very, very rich, and they built that motel for the meetings and stuff for the executives of the coal industries and stuff like that. And then of course when the industry collapsed, well, the motel was still there. So I like to stay there whenever I go up there. I really do. It's very nice. But that's what happens a lot of times. You find things like that, interesting places and stuff like that, and it's really sad to see that. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to come up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and come this far with on each side with separating the head from the body. So this is it right here. Okay. And let's do this right here. Yeah, you find that a lot whenever you travel, and it's interesting. I love to travel. It's hard for me to travel. I've always driven up there, and it's a lot of 18-hour drive to my son's. But I think next time, I've told him last time we went up there that next time I'm just going to get on a plane, and in a little bit of time I'll be there. It's really a long ways driving. I love it, but it's getting harder on me because I have neuropathy in my feet, and they start to burn as I'm driving so far. And so next time I'll be on a plane, be there in about 3 hours. Rent a car, and that's another thing. Okay, so we got this carved in here and all that, and sort of, so this will be his face and all that. I'm gonna go back to the hat now. I'm just gonna get this, work on this top of this hat here. That's another thing that if you, I don't know if you've checked lately, but rental cars have skyrocketed. The lady told me what happened is during COVID, the rental cars began to, the rental places really hurt for customers, so they sold off a lot of their rental cars. They had way too many, so they sold them off. And when they sold them off, well, after the business came back after COVID, well, they went to get new cars, and as everybody knows, this COVID has caused chips or whatever it is, that they can't get chips for cars, so they're not building the cars. So they ran into problems, so they went up on their prices. Now, they didn't just go up on their prices, they doubled their prices. Where it used to be, I could get a rental car for $35 a day, $40 a day at the most expensive. Now it's $70 a day. And sometimes 80. I paid 80 for a mid-size car for several days and stuff. So there's an issue there. Everything's going up. So, all right, working on the top of the hat. Maybe that's the way everything has, though. But it's kind of disheartening when you pay double for things. But that's exactly what we're going through right now. We're having to pay double for everything. It just seems like. All right, here's our guy so far. Now let's look at him compared to the woman. She's usually, like I say, she's about the same size as far as the person, but the hat is a whole lot bigger. So what we're going to do with this hat, we haven't got it down, the top of it, we haven't got it down to where we want it, because we're going to make some cuts in it to try to bring it over a little bit. Is as we get closer to the, and the reason we want to work on this first is because of the simple fact that the brim, by doing that, then we have a general idea of what the brim is going to look, how much we need to bring the brim down. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of bring this, kind of come up like this, and bring that like that, and then we're going to kind of cut. We're going to cut here, and we want to be careful as we do this, okay? Okay. So we want to be careful because this is an area that is very, very difficult. So we just want to kind of come forward like that. See what we're doing? Continue. And we come lower that in there and there. And then we come up underneath here. We start just sort of continue to take it off in here. Now, the hat, of course, we want to be very careful when we come to the edges like this and begin rounding the hat off, okay? Because these edges are very, very delicate, so we want to be very, very careful what we do as far as that's concerned. All right? Okay. All right. I was over at Walmart. I had to go get something for some super glue, I think is what it was. I don't really care for Walmart, but they had super glue that I like. And one of the reasons I don't like going to Walmart is because of the, the panhandlers that are around Walmart. I don't know, they just seem to, you know, and everybody's got a sob story about their car needing gas and stuff. And I have helped people before in that situation. But I won't give them money. I will go put gas in their car, but I will not give them money because the majority of these people are probably on substance abuse and stuff like that, and they're looking for money somehow. And the reason I say that is because there was one time where this guy came to me, and I learned real quick about that, and said that he was trying to get gasoline to go somewhere. And we were not far from a liquor store. I was going in a bank, so I gave him 20 bucks. I thought really he was really in need, and he said thank you and all that stuff. And when I came out of the bank, I noticed him coming out of the liquor store across the street, and he so I learned. I was younger then, much younger then. I've learned a lot about these people that panhandle and stuff like that. It's a sad thing. People, you know, are constantly asking you for money. I don't give people money. I just don't do it because I know that a lot of times where it's going to go. And they, you know, like I said, if someone wants gas for their car, I will go and put gas in your car or whatever. There was a friend of mine, I never forgot that. This guy came to me and said I needed gas for his car. So the guy said, all right, well, I'll go put some in. And the guy was a little hesitant, said, all right, well, you know, such a way, trying to prove that he didn't, you know, wasn't wanting it for something else. And so the guy, friend of mine, started pumping the gas, got about 96 cents, and it quit. Guy had a full tank of gas in his car. So he was, but it always seems like these people are wanting gas, and you know, I don't have any gas and I need to get gas and stuff, and the majority of them are lying, and it's sad. It's a sad thing that you have to deal with that kind of stuff. But Walmart just seems to draw these type of people. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because you have more people going to Walmart, or it's a large place where a lot of people go. But they just seem, I had one walk up to the window and knock on the window, and I told him, look, you know, don't hit on my window and all that stuff. And he cursed me. So I know that the majority of them are people looking for something. If you have a church, our church has a lot of this problem. We used to give out food in a food bank, and we had a majority of people come by there thinking that, you know, they could easily get money and stuff like that. We would give them food, but we would not. It was one of our rules not to hand out any kind of money, anything like that, because what they do is they'll go down the street and tell the other panhandlers that they got money from that church down there, and next thing you know, you've got a ton of them stopping by the church looking for money. Okay, we're slowly working on the hat here. I get off on those subjects. All right, very good, very good. Okay, now hold on. I'll come back here. Whoops, ooh, don't want to knock my knife over. And I will come back here where this is, and kind of work that a little bit. Right now, and especially during the Christmas season and things like that, you have a lot of panhandlers. You have a lot of people trying to panhandle for food and stuff like that. It's the same thing with food. I've walked into a fast food place, and I can't do that anymore, but this guy was begging me. He was hungry, needed something to eat, so I went in and bought him something. And when I brought it out, he kind of looked like, well, why'd you do that? So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. There's so much of that around.